What is up, y'all? Welcome back to another video. My name is Sharina, and this is for all of my subscribers. This video is for all of my subscribers who have been commenting saying they want to learn how to make doormats. There's two ways. You have a vinyl way and a poster board way. Today we're going to be doing the poster board way. The vinyl process way to make doormats is for if you're going to use different colors, like if you're going to make a multi-color doormat. The poster board is for if you want to put like a cute little saying on there, and that's exactly what we're going to do today, is put a cute little saying on a doormat. It's a small saying, but it has such a large meaning, if you know what I mean. Also, if you are subscribed to my channel, or if you're new here and this is your first video because you want to learn how to make doormats, drop down in the comments and give me some ideas for doormats. So we have breast cancer awareness coming up. We have fall, Christmas. If y'all have a particular doormat that you want to see done, football season, what's your favorite football team? If you want to see a particular doormat done, let me know down in the comments and I will try my best to get that done. But let's get into the video. Now, before we get started, you will need a few items to make this doormat making go along smooth. Of course, you will need your doormat, a blank doormat. You can find these at Walmart, Target, Hobby Lobby, Lowe's, Home Depot, wherever have you. I get mine from Target or Home Depot or Walmart somewhere because they're all like really near to my house. You can even order some online, but you need a blank doormat. You will also need a thin poster board. This is just a regular thin poster board out of the Dollar Tree. Does not matter what color you get. Whichever color you get, whatever poster board you decide to buy, remove the sticker from the back if you get it from the Dollar Tree. You will also need a foam poster board. This is also at the Dollar Tree. The sticker on this don't matter because this won't be used in the process. It's just gonna help us. You'll see later what I mean. But a foam poster board. Both of these can be found in the Dollar Tree. Duct tape. You will also need duct tape. These are also in the Dollar Tree. I prefer the color black, but you can use whatever duct tape you decide to use. You will also need some pens. These are also at the Dollar Tree. These little pens, this is how they look. You can buy these at Walmart or anywhere with sewing. But this is how they look. Again, I got these out of the Dollar Tree, but you can buy these pretty much anywhere. Last but not least, a can of Flex Seal. This is black Flex Seal. This is what we're gonna spray the doormat with. Do not try to go around this, because this is like $14, $15 at Walmart, Home Depot. Do not try to go around and buy some cheap spray paint. If you try to buy spray paint, it's not gonna look right because the spray paint has a massive overspray and your letters is not gonna be clean and crisp like it will with spraying Flex Seal. So get Flex Seal, okay? First things first, you want to create the stencil for your doormat. We're going to create our stencil today using Cricut Design Space. So once you're on Cricut Design Space, you want to go over to Shapes and grab you a square. Once you have grabbed you a square, you want to resize that square to a 30-inch width and an 18-inch height. This is the actual size of the physical doormat. Then you want to zoom out to 25% so that you can see the entire square on your canvas. Once you have your square zoomed out to 25%, you then want to change it to the color brown. And this is just to create like a mock-up or a template for our doormat so that we can see how our doormat will look prior to creating the actual doormat. Today the doormat is going to say faith over fear, so you want to go over to text and move your text box onto your square. Then you want to change your text to the word faith. Once you've changed your text to the word faith, you then want to go up and change the font. So I do have Cricut Design Space subscription, but I'm going to tell you the font that I'm using. If you don't have it, you can use whatever font that you would like to use. So the font that we're going to be using is called ITC Machine Medium. So this font here is called ITC Machine Medium. Once you change the font for your word faith, you then want to change the size. So we know that we can print up to a 23.5 inch width with Cricut Design Space. So we're going to make that as big as we can, our max 23.5, and then we're going to change the height to 6. So the word faith is a 23.5 width and a 6 inch height. Now you want to go back over to text and grab another text and move it over to your square. And then you want to change that word text to the word fear using the same font. So you don't have to go back and change the font because the font is already set. And we're also going to size fear to a 23.5 inch width and a 6 inch height. Because we know on our Cricut machine we can cut up to a max of 23.5 inches. Now we're going to go back over to text again, and then we're going to put the word over. So you want to type the word over inside your text, but for over, we're going to change the font. So you want to go over to font, and we're going to use a cursive font. My favorite cursive font is called Belinda. So we're going to use the font Belinda for over, and we're going to change the size of the word over to a 8 inch width and a 3 inch height. Then we're going to go over to the right, and on our layer that says square, we're just going to click on the little eye just to remove it. Then we're going to go over the entire image, faith over fear. And then I'm going to align it. So this is going to center it horizontally. So everything is perfectly lined up. And then I'm going to change the color to black. Just so it can stand out. We can see it better. You see how much of a difference the color change make? Then we're going to go over the entire faith over fear. And then we're going to weld it. We're going to weld it because we know that we can cut up to a 23.5 within an 11.5. So we're going to weld faith over, and then we're going to weld the word fear. So this is going to be 2 cuts. Faith over is going to be 1 cut, and fear is going to be 1 cut. We can't cut it all together because it's going to be too large. So you're going to have to break it up. So faith and over is going to be 1 cut, and fear is going to be 1 cut. Now we're going to bring back our brown square, and this is exactly how your doormat should look once you're done. Now all we have to do is make it. Now we're going to be using poster board, and we're making a stencil, so do not mirror your image. You are making a stencil. Never mirror your image when you're making a stencil. Again, we're going to be using poster board instead of vinyl. So we're going to be loading up our mats with poster board instead of vinyl. I'm scooting down the image some because I don't like for it to cut. I like to have space on the top of my image and at the bottom of my image. So that's all I'm doing. You can cut it just like this if you want to, but I like to scoop my image down so when it cuts, I have a little space at the top and a little space at the bottom of my image just to create a little clearance. Make sure that your cutting machine is set to cardstock 80 pounds. So that it can cut perfectly with no mistakes. As you can see, this is my poster board laying onto my mat, and I just sized it so that my image could cut perfectly on my mat. And I just drew a line, and this is what it looks like once I cut my piece down. So you want to cut your poster board so that your image can cut on your mat, just like you would do vinyl. I make sure to tape my poster board down because my mat's not that sticky, but it also keeps the poster board in place while it's cutting. Once your image is done cutting, you want to remove your letters to create a stencil like I'm doing here. So again, you are creating a stencil, so you want to remove the letters out of your poster board, and this is how it should look. Then you want to go back and remove the insides of your letters, like the A's and the O's and the E's, and then you want to set those to the side. So here's what our stencil looks like, and these are the insides of my letters that I have that I'm just going to sit to the side. And I'm going to do the same process for my second cut, which was Fear. Remember, we had 2 cuts. Faith Over was 1 cut, and Fear was our second cut. So again, we're creating a stencil. You want to take that foam board and place it under your doormat. This is so when you move the doormat outside, the spray paint, it's not flimsy. So the poster board just keeps it straight and steady so things don't move around when you move your doormat outside to go spray paint. So you want to put your Faith Over stencil in the center of your doormat. Make sure that everything is nice and in the center. Then you want to duct tape it down on each side. Once you've duct taped it down on each side, you want to use your pens to flatten out your stencil, and then you also want to use a pen to pin down the insides of your letters. So you want to pin down the insides of your A's, your O's, your E's, all the letters that had a inside that you had to remove. You want to pin those down with your pen and make sure that your stencil is nice and flat. So this is what it should look like. See, I have all the insides of my letters pinned down, and I made sure that my stencil is nice and flat. So you want to spray paint Faith and Over first. I said spray paint, but it's actually Flex Seal. You want to spray your mat with Flex Seal first before you go and spray your second cut. So our first cut is Faith Over. We're going to spray that with Flex Seal first, and then we're gonna go spray the Fear with our Flex Seal second. And so I'm spraying the Faith and Over with Flex Seal, and I went and I had to get an extra piece of painter's tape just to make sure, because it was still kind of close, just to make sure I didn't get paint on the ends of the mats, as you can see. But you just want to spray it with Flex Seal. No particular way on how to spray, just spray it and make sure everything is covered. Once everything is nice and sprayed, you don't see any blank spots, then you can remove your stencil. 2 ways you can do this. You can wait until the Flex Seal dries, then remove it, or you can remove it while it's still wet. I remove it while it's still wet because I've been making doormats for a long time. But if this is your first time, please let it dry, because it's wet and you don't want that other Flex Seal to drip onto places, you know, that you don't want it. So wait till it's dry if you just beginning. And then you want to remove the insides of your letters. And then the second step will be to add your Fear stencil. And we're going to do this the exact same way we did our first stencil. So we're going to lay it on our mat. We're going to duct tape the sides. We're going to pin it down, make sure it's flat. We're going to pin the insides of the A's and the R's and the E's. Then we're going to spray paint that with Flex Seal, and then we're going to remove it as well. Same step, same process as you did your first spray, your first cut, your first stencil. We're going to do this with the second one. I just want to add that whatever part that you're not painting on your doormat, cover it up. So even though Flex Seal don't have an overspray, still cover up the areas that you aren't spraying. So sometimes I use painter's tape. I have cardboard laying around that I use. Just try to cover the areas that you aren't spraying, just to be extra careful. Again, if this is your first time, let your Flex Seal dry before you remove it, because I don't want you to mess up and I want you to have a perfect, pretty doormat. But once you're done spraying, this is what your doormat looks like. Faith Over Fear. As you can see how clean those letters are. If you use spray paint, you're gonna have an overspray, I promise you. So make sure you use Flex Seal. But that is it, guys, for the video. I hope I was clear about everything. Let me know down in the comments what you think. Bye.